one, if you're planning on taking it anywhere to practice with your bare feet after you stood on the ground, no go. This one stays at home, park it there. Also, if you're planning on traveling with this is extremely heavy. I don't recommend. Namaste, my friends. Welcome or welcome back. This video will be for everyone who's thinking of becoming a yogi, or maybe you are already one, but you would like to change your yoga mat, or maybe you never had your own yoga mat and you were always practicing in the yoga studios. Or maybe it's your first time you want to do yoga at home and you're wondering which is the yoga mat for you, which type of yoga mat to choose, how to choose it, because there are so many of different colors, materials, brands, different prices. How to not get lost in all that and understand what exactly do you need. Stay with me and I will tell you everything about my experience choosing different yoga mats and using them in my personal practice and in my yoga studio. First and foremost, you need to answer yourself 3 questions. Which type of yogi am I? Am I sweaty one or not that really? Because this can already put away half of the yoga mats out there on the market, which are even more expensive. The second question to ask yourself is, where are you planning on practicing? Is it at home or in the studio, or is it outside? Are you planning on bringing your yoga mat to practice at the beach or somewhere else? And the third question is, what is your budget? Because let's speak truthfully, you can pick the most expensive yoga mat and most probably it will be good for you, but if you're on budget, that's not that easy to choose yoga mat. But I got you. I will show to you 3 the most common materials, the most common materials that majority of the brands are using in producing of the yoga mats, and I will explain to you what is the difference and which one you would like to choose and why. In this video, I would like to focus your attention on 3 major materials that majority of the companies are using. So it will be the PVC or polyvinyl chloride material, or the cheapest one. And you can find yoga mats starting from even $5, $10 and a bit higher. This particular brand is the Bodhi brand, has this symbol. And these yoga mats I'm using in my yoga studio for the students. The next material is the natural rubber. And here I have the travel version. I have a not very common brand over here, but all of the brands, they're pretty much the same. I have the Ojas brand, which is a Spanish one, and this yoga mat is called Salamander. And the third material, is this one on which am I sitting, and this is the PU yoga mat or polyurethane. It's also called sometimes the fake leather, and it is done with the rubber surface down, so rubber bottom part, and on top natural rubber, and on top you have this weird, let's say, material which is very popular these days. But this one in particular is the Life Form or Life For Me brand, but Lululemon, even Manduka brand, they also produce their GRP or something like these mats. They're done of the same material. I don't want you to focus on the brand. I want you to focus on the material. So we have the PVC, we have natural rubber, and then we have PU and the rubber as a bottom part for it not to slip. What is the difference? And why you would like to consider one over another. So let's go back to the first question that I asked you. So which type of yogi are you? Are you a sweaty one or not? Because if you are a sweaty yogi, this one is the best for you. So the PU or polyurethane top surface yoga mat. because the moment you put something wet, it stays immediately. It's like it has the open pore structure, so everything goes down and it stays there, which is good and bad. From one point of view, it's amazing for the sweaty people because you really won't sleep on this yoga mat. It's fantastic. But from another point of view, everything stays there. So any dirt, it's very, 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 very hard to clean. But you know, if you're sweaty, or you use this one, or you buy other two, or any other, but you use the blanket, because if you're sweating, otherwise your hands and feet, they will be sliding. If you're not a sweaty person, these yoga mats are fantastic. The grip that I have with a rubber yoga mat, I never felt with anything else before. But it's quite expensive. This is the cheapest. And I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that even though it's the cheapest, it's still a very, very good yoga mat. Unfortunately, you will sleep if you're sweating. So the blanket or the towel, anything that you prefer using. The second one is, where are you planning on practicing? If you're planning on practicing at home, this yoga mat is perfect. This one, the travel version, is too tiny for your knees, trust me. So if you're not planning on moving it anywhere, buy any, but at least 4 millimeters thick. This should be at least like the minimum standard. All of these materials are perfect for practicing at home. But if you are planning on practicing outside and you want to take your yoga mat in the car with you to the mountains or to the beach, there are two options. The first is how easy it is to clean it afterwards and how heavy it is. This one is a nightmare to clean. It has already some of the spots that are impossible to take away even with soap or any other products. So this one, if you're planning on taking it anywhere to practice with your bare feet after you stood on the ground, no go. This one stays at home, park it there. Also, if you're planning on traveling with this is extremely heavy. I don't recommend. If you're planning on traveling, of course, the travel yoga mat is the best because you can fold it as much as you want, and rubber itself is very grippy, fantastic, you don't slip. Most importantly, you can put it in the backpack, in your bag, anywhere. In terms of cleaning, I prefer to clean this mat in my bathtub, you know, scrubbing a bit with the towel or something and a bit of soap. And then the most important is you need to let it dry for 12-24 hours, around that. This yoga mat will be much heavier. I think they also have the travel version though. This one is 4 millimeters. That's also very easy to clean. You put it in the bathtub. I think once I will have a video, you know, how I clean exactly these yoga mats. You put it in the bathtub, you clean it, you let it dry, you know, no problem. Super durable as well. So at home, any, but thicker. Outside, not that one. Definitely not the polyurethane or not PU surface, because that will be a disaster. Or maybe you have a lot of money and you like changing your yoga mats very often, so go for it. Another one is the price. So what about the price? The cheapest, and there are different variations, is PVC or polyvinyl chloride yoga mat. They range, as I told, from lowest till a bit higher. So if you're on budget, take them. They're amazing and they will serve you a lifetime because they're very, very hard to destroy, honestly. Then we have the natural rubber yoga mats, I would say. Then they go higher. That will be even around 70, 80, 100. Depends on the brand, but check, because pretty much all of the brands, they use the same materials. And then the most expensive will be the polyurethane or PU yoga mat. Yes, it absorbs the sweat, but it's very expensive because it's quite a new technology. Of course, there are other questions to answer before you buy a yoga mat. For example, whether for you it's important that the yoga mat is eco-friendly and made of recyclable products or not. Because the least expensive is the least eco-friendly, but it really can serve your lifetime. The natural rubber is produced of natural rubber. It's much more eco-friendly and also very durable. The polyurethane yoga mat is very eco-friendly, very nice. But for example, in this brand, they're writing down that if you put it into the soil, it will be absorbed completely in 5 years. And you know what? I've been using it since a bit more than 1 year, and it's already kind of destroyed. So, you know, fantastic, eco, but how long it lasts. So what is more important for you? For the yoga mat to last or to be eco-friendly? That's another question to ask. And in general, don't worry, because usually the first yoga mat that you buy is the wrong yoga mat. You will end up changing your opinion about different brands. You will end up wanting the second one, the third one. Please, let's try to not to buy too many yoga mats, because in the end, you know, yoga also teaches us to be happy with what we have. In the end, yoga mat should be supportive and comfortable. It should give you a sufficient grip not to slide down. It should also be very not fast to clean and not too heavy if you're planning on traveling. If you're staying at home, that's not a big deal. I hope you understood that to choose a good, sufficient for your practice yoga mat, it shouldn't be very expensive. It can start really at a very low price. The only thing, try not to buy the cheapest yoga mat. I made this mistake once. I spent like $10 and it was really not good. Like, at least I think it should cost around $20. From that you can already expect a very good quality. I really hope that this video was useful. I hope that that you will be able to make your decision by answering these questions that I put in the first place, by seeing the difference in the materials. And don't worry about the brands. Majority of the brands, they use the same materials, the same products. Simply have a look what you like most, have a look at the color. This is also quite interesting. And choose your yoga mat. The most important is not to simply choose it and buy it, but to practice on it. I'm sure that your practice will be amazing, much more comfortable, much more enjoyable with the right yoga mat. If it was useful, please put the thumbs up, put the like down this video, and don't forget to subscribe for many more videos to come. If you have any suggestion, any idea about any future video, or you have any questions to me, I will be happy to answer them. Namaste.